Hello, this is step number 7 in the NDS Step tutorials. And what we'd like to do today is go through reports and report customizers. And so what we'd like to do is just show you step number 7, reports and report customizers using NDS. And what we'll do is start off with just the base screen in NDS and go over 3 kind of reports and how to customize your reports. So when you are in the NDS software, the first reports that you can write that you'll use quite frequently is reports that would be in a recipe. So now we are showing a recipe, and what we want to do is make this report. And so we'll go to the report section in the blue bar here, and we'll go to the reports. And as we go into reports, you will notice that your first report shows up here. You can see, looking in the upper left, you have quite a few options that you can choose from in the report. Options over here underneath. Basically, if you wanted to show minerals, you can click on to the mineral tab here, and you will see the mineral report that would be similar to what is in the recipe page. Now, since we have it broken into 2 pages, and what I will do is go to let's see, I'll go to minerals. In order to stretch out across the page, I'll go to the mineral section, properties, and I will proportionate the table, but I'll also merge the table, and I'll apply the changes. Merging says that it will not allow it to be on 2 separate pages, so then it's listed on my second page. Now the orientation is every category is pushed far to the left of that cell. If I would want to change that, I could go back to properties and go into the alignment and center that and apply the changes. And there is those columns centered. Looking at the minerals, if I didn't want some option in the mineral, I have the ability to look at this and say, maybe I don't want the water option in there. I don't have anything listed in the water. I don't have in this recipe, I don't have a water listed with the minerals in there. But I do want the total intake and concentration supplied and requirements. So what I can do is I can uncheck the water, apply the changes, and now as I go down, that column is not included in there. If I really wanted this to be a 1-page report, I also can customize that. The fact that I might want to put my minerals and my maybe I want my econ report to only show the columns as far as the unit of measurement and the total economic report. What I could do is I could unclick several of these, apply my changes, and then maybe drag my mineral report over here, and let's see what that looks like. So that looks like a very busy page, but it does fit the one-page requirement that I was asking for. And so I can also do the same thing with my header. Since I've got my economics down here, maybe I don't need my price per tons here. I can go here to properties and take out the ton price and apply the changes. Nice report. What I may want to do is include the note function. And so this is the note that will go below the header right here. And I've chosen to show it in bold. And maybe I'll underline it. I chose the largest font with a red around it. Maybe we'll do, I think there was maybe I'll do crimson and leave it in red and center it. And so now I can put in there that this is the demo. I don't know if we got bolded. Let's go back and bold that. And so I can go demo and go demo Joe. This is new ration. So I'm sending this to my customer, and I want him to know that this is our new diet. Send him a note, and it ends up here. So next time when I do pull the header and edit the note, all those things are saved there. Can so I can send him quite a few things to grab his attention and get him customize this report. So this would be an example of what I called a farm economic report. If I choose not to show the minerals, I can go ahead and click that off. Lose my minerals, and here I am with that standard report. Some other things I can do in this report. From here, what I can do is create this file, and I can create it in the Excel, or the Word format, and save that. Or I can also choose this send function, which basically will allow me to maybe send this PDF to my customer. Now, if we've set this up with the external file function, and we've set it up in My Documents, NDS session file, here's my farm, here's my barn, here's my pen. So what I'll do is I'll save that, and let's put today's date on it. I can modify this right here, and put anything in here, and I'll save it. And now, using that send function in the utility, it should pop right up in my Outlook. So from here, I can send it to my colleague and send it to the dairyman, send it to anybody I need to do, and go ahead and send it from this screen right here. And I'll not choose to do that right now. But what that did is it also put that file in my external file folder. As we were looking around at the external file functions in my demo dairy, that would now be inside of the demo library. Now, let me just find that real quick. It would be under this demo, I believe. Make sure I got the and there is the diet that we saved. If we would have saved it, would have saved it, but there's my high cow demo 2014-725. That's a report that we sent to him, and I can do that just by the send function. It will automatically save that report that we ask it to do. So again, that's a powerful function. We can do that without taking a lot of time going to the utilities and using the send file, and also forward it to Dropbox as a automatic function. But again, you can change any of these. You have the ability to save multiple reports. So using what we call the multi-report function, what I can do is I can go to any of the other reports that I saved. This is the listed as the farm economic report. I can also go to the ration consultant report that I've saved in here. And let me get rid of my header. And so now what I've done is I've created a what I call a consultant report, and it's still got the diet in it here. And then I'm showing the summary analysis, and I'm showing the C and CPS output, and I'm showing the economic report. And again, fits on one page. I can do a little customization here to make sure that it fits on one page. I can set these margins also here, and if I want to increase my page size, I can increase that there. And again, same, I can go to utilities and save the file, create a file, or I can send the file and it'll pop right up into my email also. So you have all those abilities to choose any of these options. If I wanted, let's say, the DCAD option here, so I'm going to show the DCAD also. It's going to be now a 2-page report. And as I shrink down, as I scroll down, I'll take a look and see what this other. Here is the DCAD. And so maybe what I want it to do, again, I can go over here, customize my economic report and show that. And now I can customize this in order to, I have plenty of room here. I think what I could do is take my DCAD report, pull it next to my economic report. It creates probably a busier page, but again, it's a 1-page report then. I can show my cost per head, cost of pound of dry matter, show my economic report, show my DCAD right here. So again, customizable, moving things around. If I want to use one of the customized reports that I have built in the utility function, what I can do is I can choose the full analysis, which will, what I probably need to do is take off the summary analysis and CPS analysis. Oops. And and I'll take off the economic analysis. And what I can do now is I can show when I have full analysis chosen and nothing else, it allows me to look at if I wanted to do the full analysis and use the user nutrient list. So I could show just the carbohydrate tab. And again, it fits on one page, so I can show all that function. I can choose protein function, list of nutrient types, and show, or what I can do is then use the user report, which then allows me to look at any ones that I have done. So I made up a fatty acid report one day just to, as an example, or I can show a farm analysis, just a generic, very short farm, dry matter supply, 15% crude protein here, NFC 39, or I can show I've got a couple feed mills in here, and we'll look at those later. But this way you could save multiple reports by creating those in the multi-report function. You would create a new one, name it, save it, and then gives you the ability to modify those or build them. So if we wanted to create a new one, we would do a we'll just call it July demo report, and then I would save that report. I would go to that report and now modify that report, and I can include the graph here. What I may do is move it down here. There's an ingredient graph that looks at, it must be defaulted up there. So the ingredient graph looks at all the ingredient amounts. I can customize the ingredient amount. So what I can do is I can show that by I'll have to play with that. But what I may do right now is remove that table and go ahead and put in here properties. What I may want to do is take the tons off, proportionate the table, apply changes. And what I may want to do is look at amino acids in here. Now I've got my amino acids, and you can see I'm not stretched across the top. So that is just a simple proportionate table. I can apply changes, and there would be my amino acid report. And then that would be saved in my multi-report now. All right. So that is the first. I would like to go see what my farm consultant report became. We may have to remodify that after we messed around with it. Yeah, let me go through it. Remodify that. So I show my summary analysis, my CNC PS analysis, and my economic analysis. So as we started messing around with that, I've changed my report. Here is my consultant report again. So that is some of the functions and the functionality of the consultant report. You can decide whether you want to use your headers that you created, utility function, basically sending there, changing it to landscape or portrait, and there we have most of the functions you'll need to be using in this recipe report. So I'm going to close the preview real quick. What I may do is, in this diet I have not made a mix, so what I may do is just go through the process real quick of making a, I'll call this the, let's see, let's call it the mineral mix for demo. And what I may do is go out here and take some of this other stuff out and just take some minerals, very simple mineral mix here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and 2014 725. So I've made a mineral mix for this farm. I've dated it. I'm going to create the composite on there. I'm going to feed 0.654 as fed, dry matter pounds the same. I'm going to go ahead and make that mix. So here is my mix. What I'd like to do is take this mix and send it off to the feed mill. So again, when I click on the plus box there, clicking on the plus box, it shows my mix here, the amounts of as fed dry matter percent, dollars per ton, and then what I want to do is the batch mix, and when I type in the batch amount, 2,000, now it appears over here as the batch weights for 2,000 pounds. I'm able to look at the nutrient profile of that. I can also modify that pop-up bubble in the utility page. I can write a note down about that mix. I can unmix the mix here and then print the mix, but what I want to do is show you this little button here that says keep the batch unchanged, which means it will keep the batch 2,000 pounds. So my vitamin mineral mix is at 346.39 pounds, and I may just change that to 345 pounds for the rounding, and then I can hand round this. Since it's so easy, we are going to go ahead and do that and make it nice round numbers, and it will change the outputs of here. You know, it's sensitive here, so it's changing that. So now when I go to my printer option, then what it's showing me is that I have this amount of these ingredients. Here's my as fed pounds, my dry matter pounds, percents, my weigh-in and progressive. And again, if I want to change any of that, properties, and I can see, you know, maybe I just want the weigh-in. I don't want him to have a progressive amount. Then I can click off of here. I'm showing as fed dry matter pounds. Some feed mills want to know that to do the double check on there, and I can apply my changes. And there it is. Now I've chosen to show the full analysis, and maybe I have a feed mill report here which I've created, which would show again the nutrient, unit of measurement, as fed dry matter pounds here. And again, since I'm using this MinVit blank, that's why we're showing nothing there. But that will report any which way. And then you can customize the user reports, make your own user report. Again, I would probably insert the note and just say new formula for demo dairy, and they'd always, and then that's something I can then, again, under utilities, create the file. It'll drop it right back into that same farm, or I can send the file. Let's send it by a Word document, and here it is. It's a mineral mix for that AA demo. Say OK, and it'll pop up in my Outlook. If I had chosen the send function, I may have just done the create function there. And so those are available to you under options, description, some things here, insert, header note, fixed note. I've never done a formulation note. And that may appear down here. So again, we can look at multi-reports. We can customize the header there if we need to. And so everything's open, available to you on this. And this is the report for your batch, for your mix report, your composite report. So again, you can change your margins here, however you were doing that. But again, that is quickly a review. When you have a mix, you're going to expand your mix. You can keep your batch unchanged. You can hand round. You can look at the analysis, write a note about it, print it here, and that gets us to that report section, which is your composite report. So that is the functionality there. Very similar to the other screen. You know, I think this is totally customizable too. However you might want to do that, however you would want to add. But that user report, again, when you're in your home screen, you can get to your main page. You can get to the utility page. And then in the utility page, the report setting allows you to create a new report. So again, if you wanted to create a new report, you can create a new one. And save it. And so now we have a new report, and you can build that report and include anything you would like to include in here. And acid detergent lignin. Sometimes that's a definition people are not familiar with. So what we may want to do is go ahead and make a very new report. It appears here. We would definitely want to modify this. Holding down on the green box, you can pull that and change this around any which way you would like to do this. Modify this report and move these around and say OK, and you'll create that report. I think I probably hit the wrong button there. No, we're good. So that would be available to us in that report. So we've created that new report easily. If I go back to the diet and do a composite report, print that off, my new report should be available here. I may have to restart the program to get that available to me, but anything would be available right here then in this area for me. Okay, so we've talked about the reports for the recipe and then the composite report. There's one other report we would want to look at, and that would be the Mixer Wagon report. So in the Mixer Wagon report, if I click on Mixer Wagon, my recipe is here. Let's do one more thing before we do this. If I was working with this farm, I would probably create another mix, and that other mix would be a farm mix. So let me just go through, and I would add my canola by clicking check all. Let's double check. I would add my canola, my soy, my corn, my steam flake corn. We'd probably put the steam flake in by itself, fuzzy, and our mineral mix. So this might be our demo farm mix. And let's go ahead and date that. And now we've created a farm mix. And so what we have is we have our ingredients here. We've got our hays here, corn silage is here. What I may want to do is reorder those by amount. And so now I've got right mouse click on the as fed or dry matter pounds, allows me to put in my as feds. In this example, we've got corn silage, we've got our farm mix, we've got our hay, a little bit of corn, a little bit of wheat hay. So now I've got a mix inside of a mix, and just as a review, I can click on this mix. Oops, the wrong button there. If I click on the plus box, gives me my mix, and again I can go through and I can round this. Here's my as fed dry matter pounds percent. I don't have a cost for cotton here. If he's mixing a 10,000 pound batch, there's my 10,000 pounds. Again, I may go ahead and round some of these ingredients for him, especially on farm. And I would start up here, maybe make this 2100, 2100, and 2400, and make that an easy mix for him. My numbers were changing over here as I was changing that, so then I can make him a quick report. And again, rename this to and farm mix, and date it, whatever we would put in there, and then go ahead, and that would appear as the farm mix. May not need to show him anything other than what's in the farm mix. And again, changing this around as fed percents, I can do the weigh-in, and I can do the progressive by adding that key, apply my changes, and so now I've got a farm mix, same utilities, save and send, but I've created a farm mix for him. So now I've got a mix within a mix, and so as I open that mix here, you'll notice right now that right next to create a mix, there became a remix button, so you can remix a previously mixed composite. I can do the same thing by unmixing my MinVit. Now when I go to my remix button, it's telling me the mineral mix for that demo 2014-725 is within my demo farm, and then my demo farm. So this is telling me I need to mix this one first. I can simply remix it. I can modify and then create a new version and rename it if I want, but what I'm going to do is just create a mix. Go back to the remix button here, and I'm going to go ahead and remix it again, remix my farm demo, and I'll have that done. Need to do a quick housekeeping thing before we go any further. And I want to take off my zoom option here so that will not complex my recording of this. So now I've got my ingredients here. I've got my diet finished. This is what I want to send. I'm going to create a mixer report for my customer. So what I may do is he's a 200 cow dairy or 200 cows in this pen. It's going to have 100% of the intake. I will send him increments of 3 cows, and I will send him 12 increments, and we're going to feed once a day in that pen. So again, what I want to do is probably put my farm mix in, my grain mix first. So I tab on the grain mix, come up to the green arrows, and I can move that up. And then I'll put my hays in, so let me move my wheat hay up. And then I will probably put my corn silage in last. And so again, the mix order that this is saved in is not the same as the recipe. So now as I go to my report, then I can see my report is set up here. Oh, I've got a little functionality. I've got zeros here. What I need to do is come back over here and put my forages is in 10, concentrates in 5, and mineral premix in 1. Now when I hit my report, here are my feeds for those animals. Here I've got my amounts here, my cumulative here down below it. Here are my feeds. What I can do is I've got as fed dry matter pounds, and what I can do is include the dry matter percent of that. So I know my corn silage is 30% dry matter, and it's showing it right here. Here's my columns. What I can do too is to go and I can use what we have developed as a feeding adjustment. So let me just show you that report. When I go to that report, what I now do is I have a 2-page report. So as I scroll down here, my corn silage, oh, I lost that option. Let me pull up that dry matter again. So the dry matter of that corn silage is 30%. And so as I scroll down here, I can see that my corn silage is 30% here. If it got 3% wetter to 27, here's my multiplying factor. I would multiply that amount of corn silage. I would multiply my amount of corn silage. That would be 15,460. I would multiply that times the 1.11, which would give me my adjusted moisture correction for that amount of silage. And so that is on a separate page. When you click that, you get the moisture adjustment factor here. Under options, you can change the make it monochrome, change your font size. Utilities, again, create and send. And so those are some of the options here in the report. Let's go back to the report itself, and you can, what I probably need to do is show 2 decimal points here instead of 3, and I think this is being set up by my default in my program. I probably need to change this to 3 decimal points. But again, I can show that by amount also if I want to make a 10,000 pound batch. And then I can do increments. I'll do increments of 500 pounds, and I'll show 10 increments. And then it produces a report basically around the amount, not the per head. So if I'm making an 8,000, 8,500, 9,000, 9,500, 10,000, it just shows the amounts down below. Okay, so that's the mixer report, mixer wagon report. Have the options here of looking at that by doing it by amount or by head, and some of the issues here. So one more report that I'd like to show you is I would like to show you the report for this dairy. So if I'm going to print off a report that I can send him to just allow him to take my report and stick it in his Easy Feed or his Feed Watch or something, what I may do is choose the recipe one-page report by going back to the farm and then selecting. I can choose the multiple one recipe per page, or I can show all the recipes on one page. So what I may do is show my demo high, and proceed here, and this will create a report with the feeds and the 2 farms. So here are my feeds. Here's my dry matter of the ingredient and 30% silage, dry matter pounds in the fresh pen, in the high pen. And again, these aren't mixed because I didn't save those as mixes. I didn't save those diets as mixes. Probably should have gone back and saved those, but I can show my analysis here. And again, send function the same way. So it does create a one-page recipe report through going through the recipe and working group. So with that, I think I'm going to close this little session basically of just looking at reports. The 3 types of reports: the ration report, the mix or composite report, and then also the mixer wagon report. Also some multifunction reports by going to the recipe page, right mouse clicking on the farm, and you can send a summation of those by right mouse clicking on the farm. So that'll be step number 7, and that'll conclude this. Thanks.